Good evening, guys. So it's Monday night. I'm trusting that all of you are online and ready to get your notes done tonight so that you're ready for class tomorrow. I'm trusting that you guys will be ready to go tomorrow and we'll have a good day tomorrow getting caught up and back on track from yesterday. Don't forget, if you forgot to do your Algebra 1 notes last night, that you need to do them tonight. So today, and I know this says graphing functions, but it is graphing functions to an extent, but we're actually going to be dealing with just some more pattern recognition and filling in the t-charts. Okay, so when we deal with example 1, we're going to fill in the table and then plot the points. So our first number is -2, 0, then it skips a spot and it goes to 4 and then 0 again. Okay, and when I ask you to do problems like this in class, I'm going to ask you for an explanation. You need to tell me what is the pattern. What do you notice about X? How is it changing? What do you notice about Y? How is it changing? And then we're going to eventually get into where you're going to be able to take that information and you're going to be able to write an equation based on that information. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the X values. And my board shut off, so let me get that turned back on. So we're going to look at the X values. And again, from Algebra 1, you should be able to remember this. The X values always go in the first row. This is also what we call the domain. We also call it the input. And we also call it what we call the independent variable. Okay, so I'm just gonna see if I can figure out what goes next. Well, I notice from here to here, we can actually start, and sometimes this helps, so it's up to you on what you want to do. Sometimes this helps, but I do notice that I have a negative number here, so I am going to try to put my my X and Y axis kind of in the middle. Alright, so there's my X axis and my Y axis would be somewhere right here. Put my arrows on there. And now I'm gonna plot the points that we actually have to start. So I've got -2 and -1, which goes right here. I've got 0 and 1, and then I have a couple other ones that are there. Now, this kind of looks like it should be a line. Alright, 2 points is all you need to make a line. And this looks like it should be a line. So I know that my next one, which is going to be 3, is right here. It should be somewhere over in this direction. Alright, so let's check it out. Let's see, I need to make this smaller. Okay, there we go. So, you have -2, 0, and now you have 2. Alright, let's just take a guess and let's say it's 2, because this one goes up by 2, and then I'm missing a number here, and then I go to 4. So that would kind of fit the pattern that if this one goes up by 2 to get to 0, and then I have one skipped and it's a 4, that this probably would be a 2. If that's a 2, this is a 4, then that would make this a 6. Okay? So my X appears to be increasing by 2 every time. Alright? So now let's go to the Y's. And let's see if we can recognize the Y's, the pattern with the Y's. So we have -1, 1, 3. Well, I notice that, yes, they're all odd, but I also know that these actually increase in increments of 2 as well. So -1, 1, 3, that would leave this to be a 5, and this one to be a 7. And let's go ahead and graph it now. So you got 2 up 3, you have 4 up 5, and you have 6 up 7. And this has made a straight line, which now allows me to graph it. And I get to cheat because I'm using the board, so I got this little handy dandy tool that makes it nice and straight for me. But I would like you guys, while you're doing these, when you're graphing, I would really like you guys to use a ruler so that your lines are straight. Okay, when it is actually a line. Now if it's a curved line, you can't use a ruler to do that, obviously, but I'd like you guys to use a ruler when you're doing linear equations, okay? So what you would write if I asked you, describe the difference or what the x values are doing, all right? You would tell me the x values are increasing by 2 every time in the table, okay? And the other thing is, when you do these, I want to see the points labeled. So this is 6, 7, 4, 5, 2, 3, 0, 1, and this one is -2, -1, okay? And then if I was to ask you describe the y values, you would say, well, the y values are also increasing by 2, okay? And you'll see in the next couple days how that information can help you determine a rule that would describe, or an equation that would describe what you see here. To where if I asked you, okay, you tell me if x is 100, what would the value of y be? Okay, and remember, x is your independent variable, so the value of y is based from what your x value is. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do example number 2. And again, you should notice I have positives and negatives. So for my x and y axis, I'm going to go ahead and put them somewhere in the middle. Don't have to be exact, but somewhere. Draw my arrowheads on them. Alright, and let's go ahead and I'll start by plotting the points that are here. So you got -1, -1. You have 0, 0. You have 1, 1. You have 2 and 8. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Alright. And now we want to kind of see, okay, well, what if I had 3? Alright, so if you notice here, this one goes up by 2. And then it goes up by 2 again. Alright, but this time I go up by 7. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Alright, so what else could we notice about this function? Remember, based on your Algebra 1 notes from today, we're not looking for necessarily just an algebraic function. It could be a quadratic function, it could be a cubed function, or it could also be an exponential function. Now, I know this isn't going to be linear because I have a line here, but my next point is way up here. So what do we notice? Alright, well, we notice 2 and 8. What could that be? Alright, 1 squared is 1. Alright, -1 squared is not -1. So we know this is not a squared function. Because remember, with a squared function, you will never get a negative y value. Because nothing squared is negative. Okay, so exponential could be exponential, but let's try the cubic function. -1 to the third is -1. 0 to the third is 0. 1 to the third is 1. What's 2 to the third? That's 8. Good, so this would be cubic. And 3 to the third is 27. Alright? And 5 to the third is 125. Now, we don't have the space to do this, but these would just continue to go up. So the graph that I have currently would look like this. And this would just continue to go up. Okay? So this is going to end up being a cubic function. Let's go to example number 3. We have 1, 4. You have a blank spot and 7. You have 3 and 10, a blank spot, a blank spot, a blank spot, a blank spot. I don't see any negatives, so let's go ahead and we'll put our axis, our y-axis anyway, lower than normal, and we'll put the x-axis lower than normal, and the y-axis right in the middle again. And let's plot the points we have. So we have the point 1 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the point 3 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we don't know what this point is, these points, or this point yet. So let's see if we can figure something out. So let's look at the x's, or excuse me, this actually should say the y. That's my fault. Look at the y's. We have 4, 7, 10. So it starts at 4, and it appears that from 4 to 7 is 3, from 7 to 3 is 10. So let's take a guess, and let's say that this is 13, and this one would be 16. Now let's look at the x values. You have a 1, and that skips a spot, and then you got a 3, and then it skips a spot, and you got a 5. So I would say it's safe to guess that this might be a 2, and this might be a 4. So let's plot this and check it out. So you got 2, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 4, and that was 10, so this is 13. 1, 2, 3, that's 13. And you've got 5 and 16. And that appears to make a straight line for me. Let's double check it with my line. So when I do this, it should go through every point, which it does. So it appears that this is going to work out okay. And that means that my chart is correct. All right. Now, tomorrow we're going to get to the point where we're going to take these and we're going to actually be writing equations to describe the patterns that you see here. Okay. So you guys should be getting your definitions done for Algebra 1. As well, you should also get caught up on your notes from yesterday if you didn't get them done. And other than that, I hope you guys get these done, and we will see you tomorrow ready to get these graded. Have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later.